Vanderbilt University's edict to make all student groups open to everyone is seen by many people to be a direct assault on religion under the guise of anti-discrimination. Award-winning author Carol Swain says college campuses are now breeding grounds for secularization. Carol is the author of Be the People, a call to reclaim America's faith and promise, and she joins me now. Welcome.
Hi.
You know, a lot of people are looking at this Vanderbilt University case and going, this just doesn't quite make any sense.
It
How
doesn't.
can you require that all student groups be open to anybody, no matter what their beliefs are, when the group is formed for a specific purpose?
I know, and it even goes further than that. In the case of Vanderbilt, their anti-discrimination policy has always had an exclusion for religious organizations. That was removed a few months ago. And some Christian organizations have been told that they cannot require their leaders to lead Bible study or worship groups. And that's part of the job description of a leader of a Christian organization.
Yeah, and so what is really happening here? Under the guise of anti-discrimination, they want to make it all open to everybody. But what's really happening here?
I think it's a suppression of conservative Christians, because even though there were some other groups on campus that were religious, they had constitutions very similar to the groups that were singled out. They were not put under this provisional status, where if the university doesn't remove them from provisional status, 5 groups will have to either leave campus, or if they hold meetings on campus, they will have to pay for the facilities. They will not be able to recruit at the student fairs, and they would not have the rights and privileges of other Vanderbilt students, even though their parents are paying something like $50,000 a year. And not only that, Vanderbilt gets over $500 million in federal funds each year, and even though they're a private institution, you would think that they would want to adhere to First Amendment rights.
Well, but that's the key, though, too, because it's that they fear perhaps that if they don't do this, that they would lose that money?
I don't think so. I think that they risk losing the money because they are suppressing the First Amendment rights of these students. Mm-hmm. And because they are a private institution, they don't have to adhere to the Constitution. But when you take federal money at that level, then you would assume that there would be an effort to do so. And so even though they're saying that this is an anti-discrimination measure, it seems as if it is geared towards conservative Christians. And if you dig deep enough, the university would argue that this is necessary to protect gay students. Mm-hmm. But all the organizations are open to students regardless of sexual orientation and race. And so there was no actual discrimination taking place. I think Vanderbilt saw an opportunity to lead in an area, mm-hmm. and to go where no other university has been brave enough to go, and to think that this was somehow positive good. I think they were mistaken, and even if they wanted to back away from it, which they should back away mm-hmm. from it, I'm not sure they know how.
But this is not restricted to Vanderbilt University. We've got Tufts, Hastings Law, Southern Illinois, Arizona State, Montana Law School, Miami University, San Diego State, Rutgers, University of North Carolina. All of them are sort of in this line.
But there are a lot of cases where mm-hmm. they have tightened restrictions on Christian groups, and so all the schools you cited have had problems, and there are problems taking place on other campuses, that you didn't name. There does seem to be an attack that seems to be geared more towards Christian organizations than other mm-hmm. religious organizations or groups on campus, because the secular groups are not being harassed in the same way. And if you look at the Hastings Law School case that went to the Supreme Court ruled that the university could have an all-comers policy, which means that if it's a fraternity or sorority, you have to take the first 20 people that show up, or anyone that shows up for any organization has to be accepted.
All right.
And at Vanderbilt, they're taking it one step further, and they're not calling it an all-comers policy. They're calling it an anti-discrimination policy. And if they applied the way the Supreme Court allowed Hastings to apply it, then they wouldn't be able to maintain the sororities, the fraternities, and all the other organizations that are secular on campus. It would affect them in the same way.
But why are they attacking? Why do you think they're attacking religious groups?
Because again, they were more conservative groups. It was Campus Crusade. They call themselves Crew now. Initially was Crew, InterVarsity, the Christian Legal Society, a fraternity named Bucks, and a group called Navigators. And these are groups that are chapters of national organizations that they're all over campus. The organizations being attacked at Vanderbilt have been on university campuses for 25 years or longer. And I just think that the university saw it as a way to get positive publicity. I don't think it's working out the way they planned.
I don't remember this much controversy over abortion, a conflict over abortion, because if people were, a pro-life club, people would assume that you have to have these kinds of views. If you're
a Muslim, you have to share their beliefs.
And one of the things that it doesn't quite make sense, because I think you wrote in the article, the integrity of beliefs. It's like, Christians can seek to lead Muslim organizations, Muslims can seek to lead Jewish ones, Wiccans can lead Catholic fellowships. You can go down the line. I mean, someone who doesn't speak French decides he's going to lead the French club, or someone who doesn't speak Spanish is leading the Spanish club or something like that.
You know what the university would say? They would say, well, because students select their leaders, that would never happen. But it has happened on some campuses where someone that was just fundamentally opposed to the existence of a conservative group, if the group had 10 members, they've come in, with 15, elected themselves leaders, and in one case, they dissolved the organization. And so it is possible to infiltrate an organization, take it over, or steer it. And so there have been cases also where there was someone, they were Christian, but maybe they were more liberal Christian. They didn't necessarily agree with the traditional biblical view. They have gotten themselves elected and then tried to move the group's ideology away from its constitution in another direction. And so if that happens now, you can't get rid of the person. The students are stuck with someone that may make them feel very uncomfortable until the end of the semester.
So what does the future hold for this? Is there any recourse for students, or is there any recourse in the legal system?
I believe there's an organization called FIRE that's been litigating these cases around the country. And in the case of Vanderbilt, they believe that there is a legal remedy. But what we're trying to do is avoid courts and really encouraging parents, donors, trustees, and people that care about higher education, because if it stands at Vanderbilt, it will be adopted by other schools. And so it's not just about Nashville, Vanderbilt University. Whatever happens at Vanderbilt has the potential to affect universities around the country. So there's something at stake for everyone that believes in religious freedom. And it's not just about Christians, because if they start applying the rule the way it's written, it would affect every group on campus, every religious organization, and it would not allow students to grow in their faith or to be comfortable or have camaraderie the way that they do right now.
Wow, very interesting. I want to thank you very much. Carol Swain is the author of Be the People, A Call to Reclaim America's Faith and Promise. I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. My pleasure.